Hey there, toy collector friends and Bat fans alike. Welcome back to the channel. I'm the Triple TC, that's the time traveling toy collector, and today we are looking at another entry into the Batman Automobilia range. In this instance, it is one of Robin's vehicles. Indeed, it's another iteration of Robin's bike. But this is lifted from the pages of the comic book, particularly Batman issue 244, and it's Robin's bike. And again, this was produced by Hero Collector Eagle Moss back in the day. It is fixed to the base plate. It has a lenticular backdrop, and it comes in this nice sort of 180 visibility. Actually, a bit more than that, because we can look down at it from the top as well, like that, where the bat symbol sort of sits between the main part of the bike and the saddle. We'll take the case off in a second and have a look at it. You can see there it's attached by screws, so it's very secure and safe. It's not going to be flying off or into our faces or into our or breaking, although it is one of those that does look very, this actually looks, before I even take the case off, this looks like something that would have been a toy available maybe from a supermarket or from a like a newsagent's back in the 70s or the 80s. It's got that sort of cheap terrible thing to say, but sort of cheap plastic around the spokes of the wheels. I could be wrong. It might not feel like that at all when I touch it, but it just is evoking in me memories of really cheap toy motorbikes that you could get that were about the same size as this, but back in the 70s and maybe the early 80s. But let's get the case off. I have undone the little plastic tabs that hold everything where it needs to be. We'll start as always. I've got a thing to report on this one. But yeah, so this is the lenticular backdrop. There we can see Robin, who seems to have grabbed a villainous type. There is so this is lenticular. You can see the shimmering of the light on it there. Again, it's supposed to evoke a degree of 3 dimensions, and you can see it a bit, particularly around sort of the car, not so much the figures or the backdrop. But it's very pleasant. It does the job. It provides a backdrop to the bike itself. What I'm not so happy about is that this has happened. And I don't know why it's happened, because they've all been kept in the same degree of security. It hasn't got wet. It hasn't been exposed to any kind of heat. No more heat certainly than the others have been exposed to, which is just sort of normal indoor heat. So I don't know what's caused that, and you can just see elements of it bleeding through. Now you know it's there, bleeding through into the artwork. So I'm not happy about that. I don't know what's caused it. And I did have a quick check on the other models, and there's nothing I can see as yet on them. But you can see, yeah, it's really, I'm really aware of it now. And you probably are, now that I've told you about it. Fortunately, when it's in the display box and the bike takes sort of the central position, you don't really notice. But that isn't really the point. Anyway, enough of my woes. Here is the Robin bike from Batman issue 244. There you go, as it says on the display base there. And we have a display base that has got that sort of nice dot matrix kind of cartoon filled in effect, which is nice because they don't always do anything particularly interesting on the base plate, but they have on this one. So they've given it that, and it does have a bit of continuity with that back bit when that back bit is there. The colour scheme for this bike is very much Robin's 1960s, 1970s look. It wouldn't be out of place in the 1960s TV series, for example. It's got a brake light at the back. It's got the saddle. It all feels a bit plasticky. Just to sort of address my own concerns, it doesn't actually feel like the cheap plastic that I was expecting to feel. The tyres are rubber, which is unexpected, as opposed to plastic. Is that true on both? Yes. There is a combination of plastic and a little bit of die cast in there, and you can feel that. We have the light at the front. You can see the suspension and some of the other interior detailing there. I think that's very nicely done. I do like the colour scheme. Not too sure what I'm looking at there. It looks like there's a bit of paint bleed, or worse, glue bleed around the light here. Let's see if I can get that focus in. You can see that. It's a bit disappointing. I don't know whether it will just clean off. I'm guessing it won't, so it might be something I need to look at. So yeah, another little bit of a problem with this model, but otherwise, again, as a design and a 3D model realization of a cartoon invention, I think it's nice. I think it's nice that we can see behind this windshield there, which is in clear plastic, that we do have the two dials there, when you can see the figures on the dials. That's very nice attention to detail there. The handlebars, the brakes, the fuel gauge there, the fuel cap there. I don't know if you noticed it before, but you can actually see behind the guards, you can see the engine in there, pulled out in silver. I do really like this sort of teal, the bluish teal colour that we have juxtaposed against the red of Robin. We have the nice silver chrome around the rest of the bike. I'll turn it around so you get the full it's not a 360 look, is it? But it's more or less a 360 look. Let's not be pedantic. And I like the lighting details. It's just a really nice model representation. It's not, I'm not going to pretend it's groundbreaking, because it's not, but it's nice. It's a nice model, and it delivers on what it has to deliver on, which is a replication of that Batman comic vehicle for Robin. And I think it does the job very, very nicely. I'm very happy to have it as part of my Batman Automobilia collection. And I'm glad you spent the last 7 or 8 minutes looking at it with me. I'm very, very grateful. I'm very annoyed about what's happened to the lenticular backdrop, but I don't think there's much I can do about it. I think but if any of you know much about these things, I'd be very much grateful and appreciative if you could let me know in the comments what you think may have caused it, because it's a little bit of a nuisance. And I definitely want to know if it's something I can avoid happening in others over time. A horrible feeling someone's going to say, no, that's just what happens to these lenticular cards over time, and I'm lucky it hasn't happened sooner. But I'm hoping that's not the case. But I await intelligent feedback, so please let me have some in the comments down below. Back to the product itself. Again, love it. Lovely little entry into the Batman Automobilia collection. As ever, if there's anything from the Batman Automobilia collection that I haven't covered at the point you're seeing this, if you have a look through the playlist, that you want me to cover, I do have the entire range. More than happy to change my planned schedule so that you can have a sight of one of those vehicles. Bear in mind, there's the Bat vehicles, which do include some boats, some more bikes. There's also a range of villain vehicles that was included in the range. Some of them are more interesting to look at than others. So I think they're going to definitely be on the agenda for a future reveal, for a future video. But if there is anything particular that you would like me to get onto sooner rather than later, then as always, please do let me know, and I will get my skates on and get that looked at. In the meantime, please take a second to like the video. That would be fantastic. And if you haven't already, if you could subscribe, that would be fantastic, because it would absolutely help me reach my next subscriber milestone and help me tackle the dark forces of the algorithm of doom. Anyway, thank you very much for spending the last few minutes with me. This has been the Robin bike as opposed to the Bat bike, from Batman comic issue 244, as produced by Hero Collector and Eagle Moss. And it just remains for me to say that a thing of beauty really is a toy forever. Take care. Bye-bye for now.